You get 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hi, I'm Alan Parry. I'm an associate professor in the math department at UVU, and today we're going to talk about the unit circle. Now, the unit circle is an important concept for anybody taking a trigonometry class, but it's sometimes a little tricky to remember what all the different sines and cosines are all the way around it. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little trick on how to do that. If you remember, around the unit circle, for each of these angles here, the x-coordinate, it refers to the cosine of that angle there, while the y-coordinate refers to the sine. Now, if we write these out, the problem is that it's sometimes hard to remember what all the right numbers are. So I'll write them out first, and then I'll show you a little trick on how to remember them. So these are all the cosines and sines that are here. And at first glance, it's a little tricky to remember. Maybe the first and last one are okay, the middle one. The one I always struggled with was the second and third as to which way they go. But if I rewrite the 1 and 0 in a special way, it makes it a lot easier. See, 1 is actually the square root of 4 divided by 2. The square root of 4 is 2, and 2 over 2 is 1. And 0 is the square root of 0 over 2, because the square root of 0 is 0. I can do the same thing up here, and something interesting happens. In fact, I'll even do it with these ones here. I'll put a square root of 1 on each of those. And suddenly you can see a really nice pattern that's really easy to remember. If you look, the cosines, they all have the same form, square root of something over 2, but they count down from 4. You get 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the sines count up from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you can count to 4, you can memorize the unit circle. Now, in order to take this into the entire unit circle, we need to look at the whole thing, but I don't have enough space for that. So we'll look at this one. Now, in this part here, you can see I've already written out the first quadrant with what we already knew. The coordinates all the way around follow these same number patterns. You just figure out which one to straight across from, and you put in the same things. The trick is you have to keep track of the sign here. In this quadrant over here, the x-coordinates are negative and y's are positive, so it's negative 1/2 square root of 3. Down here, you get the same pattern. They just kind of go up. So like in the fourth quadrant, you'd get a square root of 3 over 2 and a 1/2. That matches the x-coordinate, but the y-coordinate here in the fourth quadrant is negative. So you have a negative on the y-coordinate. Similarly, over here, you'd have the same thing. You'd have the square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2 in that position. But in the third quadrant, both coordinates are negative. So you get negatives over here. And you can follow that pattern all the way throughout. The angles you can get by just adding in what's called reference angles as you go around. The reference angles are always measured from either the positive x-axis or the negative x-axis. And they match these things here. They're called reference angles because they're the ones that have the same numbers up to sine, positive or negative. So down here, the reference angle is pi 6, so that would be all the way around the circle, which is 2 pi minus the pi 6 to give you 11 pi 6. Over here, you do a reference angle either this way or this way, and you would keep in mind that going around that way is a pi. So in this case here, this is going to be pi all the way around, and then back a 6th. So this would give you 5 pi 6ths. Here you go all the way to pi and then go forward a pi 6 to get 7 pi 6. And that's how you can get the angles all the way around it. So all the angles follow the same thing. These guys up here follow the same pattern. So like this one over here is negative square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. So from here, all you have to do is just keep following the pattern until it looks something like that. So you can see real quickly how all these numbers match up with the guys across from them, either up and down. You can see the same numbers here, but with the signs associated with the different quadrants, or straight across. The angles follow exactly the same pattern that we were talking about. So this is what it should look like when you're all the way done. Anyway, I hope that helps you fill out your unit circles a little bit better, and good luck on your trigonometry class.